But first, an ITV News investigation has discovered just how easy it is to get hold of unlicensed and potentially dangerous medicines over the internet. Our medical editor, Lawrence McGinty, and his team managed to buy two: a tanning drug called melatonin, which is untested, and a banned slimming pill, Reductil. Here is the first of his two reports on the dangers such drugs can hold.
It's clear from being able to look at all the different medicines that are available on the internet that the snake oil salesman is still with us.
We found it surprisingly easy to buy powerful medicines online, drugs like melanotan, which gives you an all-over tan when injected. They do warn that it won't stop you getting sunburn, but what they don't say is that this drug has never been through any large-scale trials, so it might have dangerous side effects. It's entirely unlicensed, and in fact it's illegal to sell it. David Williams, who runs a tanning shop in South Wales, has taken melanotan for 2 or 3 months at a time and says he's not worried about those unknown side effects.
I use melanotan because I own a sunbed shop and customers look at me for results on my sunbeds. I used it for about 3 months and I'm not worried about it because I know a lot of people that have used it and they had no side effects. I used it myself and the only side effect I had was a little bit of nausea, and that's it.
Because melanotan is injected, there are risks of hepatitis and HIV if needles are shared. The medicines watchdog, the MHRA, has warned people not to take this hormone with unknown side effects. Jim McVeigh, who recently co-wrote an influential report on drugs on the internet, says the snake oil salesmen are back.
They're still promoting drugs that are questionable at best and at worst are dangerous and in some cases have caused fatalities. Whereas they were at one time travelling salesmen, now we're seeing it being marketed through the internet.
We also bought a medicine called Reductil, which was a legitimate prescription drug for weight loss. 2 years ago, it was withdrawn because of fears about side effects like heart attacks or strokes. But we bought it at the touch of a button with no warnings.
The amount of tablets that were taken from one particular raid up there.
Linda Scammell from the Medicines Watchdog told me last year they closed down 13,000 websites, but they can do little about websites based overseas.
Many websites offering medicines for sale are hosted outside the UK. The UK has strict controls on medicines sold and supplied from pharmacies in the UK, but websites hosted outside the UK or Europe's jurisdiction will be outside our jurisdiction.
One reason why customers like David can still buy unlicensed, potentially dangerous medicines on the internet. Lawrence McGinty, ITV News.
But first, an ITV News investigation has alarming findings for anyone thinking of buying prescription drugs on the internet. Our science and medical unit managed to obtain the antidepressant Prozac that contained the highly addictive Class A drug crystal meth, and pain-killing tablets contained other dangerous substances. In the last 5 years, Britain's regulatory agency has seized more than £25 million worth of illegal medicines. Last year, more than 13,000 illegal websites were taken down and 2.5 million doses of medicine seized. Here now is the second investigation by our medical editor, Lawrence McGinty.
If you buy Prozac on the internet, you're playing with fire. The tablets we bought contained crystal meth. They're almost certainly fakes. The codeine we bought online, another counterfeit, was contaminated by Rohypnol, the drug that's been used for date rape. We bought both these prescription drugs online with few, if any, checks. Posted in India and Bucharest, they arrived in shoddy packaging with little or no information about doses or side effects. The sale of prescription drugs online is illegal. That hasn't deterred Dave. He's a recovering addict who couldn't get tranquilizers legitimately, so turned to the internet. We've disguised his voice to protect his anonymity.
If my own GP's not prescribed them, where do I get them? I've got to buy them illegally off the streets or on the internet, you know. So basically, yeah, I was pushed into buying them off the internet. There's always that concern, is there anything in there that's going to harm me? What they're made out of, you know. So part of it's taking a risk.
How much of a risk was shown dramatically by the analysis of the medicines we bought, arranged by the Royal Pharmaceutical Society at a leading laboratory. The results are shocking. What we bought as Prozac turns out to be contaminated by methamphetamine. You might know it as crystal meth. And what we bought as codeine is contaminated by addictive tranquilizers. One of those turned out to be Rohypnol. These contaminants were present only in small amounts, but a leading expert told us the contaminant in the Prozac could still be dangerous.
We believe from the analysis at this stage it's something known as methamphetamine, which is a particularly highly addictive form of amphetamine, which could cause serious complications for people perhaps with heart disease or high blood pressure if they took this drug. And also because it's highly addictive, there may be problems when the people stop taking the tablets.
The message is clear: buy medicines online and you're probably buying a fake that may be dangerous. Lawrence McGinty, ITV News.
Now, earlier this year, ITV News highlighted the growing dangers of buying prescription drugs over the internet. Well, tonight we have an exclusive report on how authorities are cracking down on the illegal trade. As our medical editor, Lawrence McGinty, reports, millions of doses of medicine have been seized and thousands of websites closed down.
A scruffy cardboard box held together by sticky tape. But inside this innocent-looking parcel, undercover investigators show me a delivery that could be as deadly as a terrorist bomb. Counterfeit Viagra bought over the internet.
And the parcel itself was coming from China, which Viagra should not be coming from China, so we're very suspicious.
The tablets go for an instant analysis, which proves they are fake. Agents from the MHRA watchdog and the border agency have seized 1.25 million doses of illegal medicines in a week-long operation at this postal hub alone. They've just seized 150 boxes of this stuff, Dragon Power. It claims to be a herbal remedy for erectile dysfunction, avoiding the side effects of synthetic Western medicines. But in fact, when they analysed it, they found it contains the same active ingredient as Viagra.
We've also been finding counterfeit versions of slimming drugs. We've also been finding unlicensed versions of both of those in absolutely vast quantities.
Investigators told me organised crime networks in Russia are behind the internet trade, and the Russian authorities are waking up.
We are getting some very positive signals, particularly through Operation Pangaea and Interpol, where actually some of the Russian law enforcement has been reaching out and asking us for information.
Oh, now they're in them.
We went with investigators on an early morning raid in a quiet North London suburb. They didn't find any medicines here, but they did uncover a paper trail showing the suspect had sold internet medicines. There's still a long way, however, from closing down the real bad guys in organised crime behind even the smallest illegal traders. Lawrence McGinty, ITV News.